I'll be here too. Careful. Oh, you got it.
Because of James walking like, oh, Eric. Happy New Year.
Okay, can you all hear me? Okay, thank you, Eric. Okay. So if you want to see all the amazing slides I did, just look backwards and you'll see the slides. So annoying. What? No, you cannot sit up. When you join the board, Carolyn, you can sit up here with me.
And you need sunglasses up here, too. So.
Because you're a star?
No.
Okay, hold on. Let me just pull up my...
What's that song? The future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. Yeah.
Right? Oh, I guess I really don't need this because it's right there. Okay, I'll hold this up in case I need it. So, everybody take a deep breath. Unfortunately, you can't see this wonderful slide of Christy Botkin-Reeves. Take a look, playing the flute on the beach. She brought so much love and music to us that morning. So everybody take a deep breath and pretend she's playing. Let's know that there is this field of vibration and energy and music that is who we are, what we are. And as the Global Truth Center, we stand on the shoulders of greatness, from Ernest Holmes to Dr. Robert Bitzer to Dr. David Walker to myself, to Dr. Liza, Dr. Tiffany, Dr. Eric, Dr. Karen, Dr. Kirby. This constant ongoing vibration and movement of expansion. Knowing that this teaching, this brilliant teaching that supports all of us, is an ongoing, alive movement of thought that continues to expand. And I know that this center is dedicated to that expansion, to loving only, to forgiving and letting go and releasing everything. But most importantly, remembering the real me in 2023, remembering who I am at all times. And so I know that this meeting this morning serves as an opportunity to know more, to listen, to hear, to understand, and to make great sense out of this thing called life, the life of the Global Truth Center. And I say thank you with gratitude in my heart for everyone who is here, for everyone who participates online in the room, knowing that we are here for greatness. And I just step out of the way and let that greatness unfold. As together we all say, and so it is. All right, everybody. Okay, next slide. My welcome. That piece, the thing that says inspiration, is from our retreat in Malibu as well. And that is from Laura Wagner, who tends to go on to beaches and write spiritual messages for everyone. So that was what she wrote on the sand that day. Inspiration. So my welcome to you is that there is an energy at this center that is, we have just come out of 2 years of a very challenging thing, the pandemic. And it has created quite a bit of energy in our world. And so we have just, this particular year, 2021, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this, 2022, sorry, not 2021, 2022 was a challenging year. You know, you will see, we for the first time ever in the history of these centers, the Global Truth Center, the 20 years that we will have existed at the end of this year, and Westlake, I don't know where they were all of their years before it, but certainly since I came here, this is the first year that we have a deficit at the end of our year. So yes, it was a challenging year. And yet, the good news for me was that as we reached towards the end of 2022, our numbers started to switch. And we found ourselves in the black on the last month and a couple of the months towards the end of the year. So it showed me that we were coming back, we were rebounding from that which caused a bit of a schism in this very center. And, you know, I don't fear looking at those things and talking about those things because they're real in the world of form, but in the world of spirit and in the absolute world of knowing, what I have known all along is that everyone gets to be nurtured where and how they want to be nurtured. And what has happened at this center, the growth, as I said earlier today, the ministry of this center, the shared leadership with Dr. Eric, Dr. Tiffany, Dr. Liza, Dr. Karen, Dr. Kirby, Dr. Connie, not Dr. Connie, Reverend Connie. It is growing, it has grown, and there is an acceptance that is starting to really feel palpable. And I'm excited. And it's been a challenging year, and I've had many questions. There were questions for me, is this still how we need to operate? Is this still a viable means of celebration? Is this still a viable means of worship? And is worship even viable anymore? I have thrown everything up in the air and let it fall as it may. And as always happens, I think this morning, you saw where we are going. You saw the room very nicely filled. You felt the energy of the room. That's what we are about. And we have made it over that hump. And I am very excited where we're going in this coming year. So that's my welcome. We're going to talk today. We're going to show you some figures. We're going to show you where we've been, what we've done. And then open up the floor so you can ask questions. Because if I've learned anything about running a spiritual center, or now running 2 spiritual centers, and let me be very clear, these are 2 very different spiritual centers. This spiritual center, the Global Truth Center, well, Joe can tell you that because he spent a whole year there and now he's back here. This center is leading the way, I believe, in what modern day spirituality wants to be. Palm Desert is doing the same thing, kicking and screaming. But that's okay. And that's our job, to be the forerunners of where we are going. And I'm happy to be that. So, that's my welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your consciousness today. This is an open forum. Please speak your mind, speak your hearts when we get to that place. and we will all benefit from that. Okay, next. So I want to talk about our 2022 accomplishments, the things that we have done. And I hate to ask you to look back, but there are going to be some pictures up there that you'll want to see. I know you guys in the back can't see it, but next slide. So soul immersion. Soul immersion to me is I feel is our biggest accomplishment of 2022, because we stayed steadfast in creating a mode of worthship where we come together in an energized field of vibration and allow ourselves to become who we are and to tap into that. And that's the only thing we're here to do, to tap into who we truly are. And so I am always looking for new things, new ways for us to tap into that. Spirit breath meditation, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Sherry Verson takes Monday mornings, and they love her. I take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they are a solid group. There's always 20. Ann Monahan's usually there. Cynthia's there. I mean, yes.
Karen and I do.
And Karen and you take Mondays with her?
Yes.
Okay, you alternate, right. And then on Friday, we have an amazing guy, Phil Jacobs from Toronto, who does a full sound bath immersion on Friday mornings. This is free. I mean, everybody donates at the end of the month something. But this is our way of saying to people, here's your spiritual practice. This is what we're here to do. And as you can see, the picture of me and Scott Gibb and Dr. Karen there sitting center, we've committed ourselves to be here the first Friday of every month in this room. And if you can see how much we set up, just setting up Scott's gong takes a little effort. But we clear this room. For those of you who haven't done it yet, we clear this room. There are yoga mats everywhere, and people come in and they lay down, and for an hour, you forget everything and just remember who you are. It's amazing. To me, that's one of our greatest accomplishments of the year. Next. So we've done retreats this year for our practitioners, our board members. If you look at these pictures, there is nothing like communing together. You know, this center, while it is this building and it is, you know, all the things, all the accoutrement, all the sound equipment and Thor and all the stuff we do, ultimately at the end of the day, what it's really about is community. Community. And our practitioners are a great example of that. We were in Malibu on the beach. We get there around 7. We're there till around 1 in the afternoon. And we do all of this beautiful coming together spiritual practice. And so if you take a look at these pictures, you'll see some of the things. There's a picture of you, Liza. I don't know, are you here? Yeah, you must be. Oh, you're right here. Of course, you're on the board. You can see it. Yeah. I'm like, look, I was looking over there where you were. Yeah, isn't that a great picture of you?
No.
I love that picture of you.
Two of them laughing over there.
You don't like that picture of her?
I was laughing at how fat I am in that picture.
Oh. So as I said, community. Yes. And that is me with the hat and the scarf and the glasses, and that's Stan and Liza and Tiffany and Eric. Anyway, we have the most incredible time together as a practitioner corps. But one of the things I want to do in 2023 is create that same experience for the congregation. Pick a day. We will pick a day where we invite everybody to Malibu. We will get sign-ups so we know what we're dealing with. But the other thing you don't see on here, because I don't think I found a picture I liked, is that at the end of it, we all fly kites. And there's nothing like watching, 40 practitioners run up the beach with kites and realize how bad we are at it. Except for Brad Kiefer. Yes, who every year shows up and flies a kite into the hinterlands, and then we lose him. Yeah. So, go on. So, Guatemala this year. Last year. My husband went to Guatemala for the first time last year. It was great. Scott and Jose run this. Liza.
Approved.
Yes. Good picture of you. Wait, is there a picture of you on there?
Yep. Yes. It's right behind you. Lower left. With Lisa Carey.
Oh yeah, right there with Lisa Carey. So this year, there's even more people that have already signed it. Karen and Brad are coming to Guatemala this year. But it's open to the congregation. We can only take so many people. But if you have a desire to come to Guatemala this coming year, join. Marilyn and Scott came last year. I don't know if you're coming this year, but we'll see. This is our outreach. And I am so proud of the things we do. I'm proud that we work with Karen Wright in, the Greater Contribution. I am proud of Guatemala. I am proud of the money we raise for Ukraine. That we see a need and we stand up for that need. Now, the other part of that is, while we are so committed to our outreach, we also need to be as committed to our inreach, to really making sure we support this center. And that's something I need to focus on more this year. So that's Guatemala. One of the things I'm also really proud of is our classes. We have a lot of classes. Dr. Liza, Dr. Tiffany, and Dr. Eric, they are teaching amazing classes this year. Reverend Dale and Dr. Lori in Palm Desert, they are teaching amazing classes. These classes are cross-pollinated from both centers because they're online. And it's just so exciting for me to watch this. But the thing I get excited about is teaching practitioners and ministers. So there is our latest crop of practitioners. Even with you in there, Scott, where you are. Scott chose not to become a licensed practitioner, but we still count him as part of our troop. So that's really important to me, that we constantly expand this teaching, allowing it to grow and allowing more voices to start speaking about that. More voices to stand up and stand in the truth of what this teaching is. So we had a full practitioner class in 2022. And next, also Let's Talk. And you'll see there just a couple of the Let's Talks. One is tonight. So I hope I see some of you online tonight for Let's Talk at 6 o'clock. We're looking in 2022 and 2023 to find more opportunities. We want to do more interviews, The Interview. We want to do, Thor and I are working on a new podcast, just more ways to get this teaching out into the world. And Let's Talk is a great one. We had David Kessler with us, who is a renowned voice in grief. And that was an amazing session. We had Joe Jordan with us that one session. How many of you were there for that one? That was so profound, spending time with her and talking about what does it mean to be in your 90s? How does this teaching work for that? Okay. We also did our first annual telethon this year. And I'm grateful to all of you. It was our largest fundraiser. Thank God for our telethon, for our yearly second telethon. Right. There you go. And next slide. A Broadway Christmas. This year's A Broadway Christmas. It was not easy during the pandemic to maintain our arts program, to how are we going to do a show. It was really challenging. But in 2022, we threw our hands up and said, we're just doing it. And A Broadway Christmas was a great fundraiser for us this year, and we're excited about what's coming up next. We're planning in 2023 to bring The Bells Are Swinging, our new musical, back onto this stage to do a staged reading of the brand new, revitalized version of the show that we just keep working on. So there's a lot more to look for. And Josh Ryan is going to work with me in bringing Open at the Top Theater Company back, which means to bring the actors from this area back together to create, to write, to direct, to act, to tap dance, and use our sanctuary as an artistic space. Right? Yes. Okay, so that brings me to the vision of the future. Where is the center going? Well, the truth is, the center can only go as far as our congregation supports it. And that's the most important part of today's meeting. To really check in with you all and find out, what do you need? What do you want? Are you being served? What better ways can we serve you? And what more can we do in our community to bring more community and fellowship together. I think when I look at the practitioner corps and I look at the ministers, I have a new ministerial class with 18 students in it. And, the teaching itself, we are in great stead with that. What we need to do better at is getting our voices heard out in the world, getting our voices heard in this neighborhood. We had 2 people here today, and I went up and said hello to them, and I said, are you friends of someone? They went, no. We just Googled spiritual center here in Westlake, and your Global Truth Center came up first because we've made sure that it comes up first. And she said, so we came. And they loved it. They said, this is not like anything we were expecting. They said, and we love it. It's just what we're looking for. Something that's not all God related. Even though I probably talked about God more today than I have in forever. I even talked about Jesus today. I know, I was like, wow. But how do we get further out into the world to let people know we're here? This building, while it's a great building, and I love this building, the thing about this building that's not so good, it has no branding quality whatsoever. No one knows that we are here because they drive by it. Only on a Sunday, thanks to Jim, when he puts out all of our signs, is there any sign of anything going on here. So we've got to figure that out, and that is one of our jobs as a board, to really figure out. Liza worked her butt off to do with what was it called? The street fair. Putting that booth together on the street fair. And you guys, and Connie too, you guys really worked all day just saying hi to people, and we have grown a bit from the street fair. So we're looking for your help with that too. And actually, simple help is tell your friends. Bring your friends to come here and celebrate. Bring your friends and let them tell you what they think. You did that today. He had a great time. Yeah. Okay, that's my vision for the future. More celebration of who we are out in the world. And so, now to talk to you a little bit about our practitioner corps, let me bring up Reverend Dr. Karen Oxrider.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
It's a good picture of you.
Wow, our practitioner... Pardon?
I was telling her it's a good picture of her. It's the back of her hair. Okay.
So thank you. I am just so pleased to co-lead the practitioner team with the amazing Dr. Kirby Ingram. And I want to tell you a little bit about 2022. Last year, it was ours to do in 2022. And would all the practitioners in this room please stand? Give them a round of applause. Look at everyone. Thank you. I'm here to tell our congregation that we have an amazing practitioner corps of 43 practitioners.
Wow.
43. And a third of those 43 practitioners are ministers in our center. And 7 are doctorates this year. That is amazing. All learning, all growing under and expanding under Dr. James' leadership and teaching. So that is amazing. And we're all shapes and sizes. We have all different levels of time and experience, starting with Christy Botkin-Reeves. You're here. She is the newest practitioner in December. Yes. All the way to the longest serving practitioners, Steve and Diane Brabant. Can I tell you that these two received their practitioner license 32 years ago, shortly followed by Pauline, I think probably about 20 years ago, Pauline. But this is the breadth and the depth of the practitioner corps that is available to our community. Please use us. We have developed and practiced and continue to educate ourselves to provide a very high level of consciousness. We've been trained in the spiritual mind treatment, the affirmative prayer. We are here for you every Sunday, complimentary. We have 2 practitioners available for you to talk with about perhaps challenges or your life goals. That is how we serve. We also serve up here on stage. You'll see us lead practitioner. You'll see us as meditation practitioner of the day. You'll see Stan has offered his gifts of singing, his musical talent. Practitioners on the board, practitioners doing spirit breath. I mean, we are here for you and the foundation of this center. And so it's a very exciting time. As Dr. James mentioned, we had 2 retreats. That Malibu Beach retreat, we had 45 practitioners there, learning and growing. In Joshua Tree this fall, it was a 3-day, 2-night event. We had 50 practitioners, and that was a combined family affair with our practitioners at the Palm Desert Center. And so to be a practitioner, and anyone who wants to begin or is continuing that journey, it is commitment, it is responsibility to serve, and it is so rewarding. To be a practitioner, you serve 320 hours of classes, 340, and then to go into ministerial, there's another 400 hours of learning, education, service. So it is a commitment to each of you, and I really honor and respect each and every person that is in our community, our practitioner corps. And so with that, I am just really pleased to say that last year was a great year, and we're here for you. And I want to introduce to you again and bring to the stage Dr. Kirby Ingram, and she'll tell you about going forward.
Thank you, Dr. Karen. So as our theme for the center is more of me in 2023, Dr. Karen and I decided that we can focus the practitioners as more of we in 2023, as a body of consciousness. And that's our last, our first meeting of the year really pointed to that we changed it up. We opened the floor, asked everyone, as James asked us today, what is it that you would like? What is it? How would you like to deepen? And the answer came back with a resounding more community, as Dr. James spoke about earlier. We are planning a deepening of our commitment to create this sense of community amongst ourselves, knowing that it will radiate out to the entire community, to touch each and every one of your lives, and to everyone online there too. In order to deepen that, we, as Dr. Karen spoke about, is a deepening of our commitment. We are all committed to continuing education, to expanding our consciousness, and that not only serves the community, but it uplifts our own lives as well. So as we intake, we can give out to you as well. We have planned exciting activities throughout the year. Our meetings have changed a little bit, and those months that we are not meeting as a practitioner corps, we're going to be alternating and offering service activities, going out into the community and helping others in the field. So one of the ideas that came up that we're all excited about, that Genevieve, one of our new practitioners, and Dr. Liza, is taking a group of people down to Skid Row and to feed those who need it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. and service and compassionate care. So this is what came up as another area of how we are going to be of greater service. There's a number of practitioners that were on that call, the practitioner call, that are called to be more involved in compassionate care. So what does that mean? It is like the pastoral care of any other spiritual center, where if there is someone that is in need, that perhaps you've had surgery and you can't make it to the market, we're going to start a food train, a sign up, so we can all go out, not only as a practitioner corps, but even all of us, that to really be love in action. Right? So we are committed to that. Compassionate care also means, just calling people that may have are grieving, and just letting people know that we are here for you, as Dr. Karen already said. And again, once consciousness on demand, we continue that tradition into the new year, that we are here for you. Just like Dr. Karen said, again, and it's worth repeating, that if something comes up for you, or if you want to anchor in a new intention, we are here for you to affirm that for you, to know a greater truth for you. We have our phone numbers, we have our contact information on the website under our ministers and our leadership, the practitioners. Please use us. We are here to build community. We are a wonderful community already, and we are interested in expanding that. As we continue to expand in our consciousness, we know that that goes out and touches others in this world. So thank you so much, and just know that we love you, and we are holding each and every one of you in this truth.
Kirby. Okay. And use that thing. Let us know. We can't help you if we don't know. You need to be willing to tell us if something comes up that you need help on. Linda Massad, who had a heart attack last year, had a heart operation. I just spoke to her the other day, and she had a number of things that she did in the world, food drives and such. And so what I committed to her with just the other day was to fulfill those, to keep them going. So our compassionate care group will start collecting from you, asking you, bring a can in, bring some food in, and we will take them right down the street to the food bank, where they are feeding the homeless here in our community. So I'm very excited about that. And yes, it was very heartening to hear at the practitioner meeting that the practitioners, one of the things they really needed was, we need to do more as a group. We need to actively do more. And so, although that's a whole new one you just came, more of me in 23 is not our theme. It's the real me in 23. But more of me is fine too. More of me in 23. There you go. So, okay, now I'm going to bring up Mr. Kevin Bailey for fundraising.
I already was able to speak to you a little bit during service. Hello, everyone online. Thank you for picking up host programming, those of you who did. I also should have said, if you're online watching and you'd like this information, you can contact me by my email or phone number or through the office. Fundraising has been a challenge, as we know, for the last couple of years, but we are back on top of it with our Divine Dining. It's going to be a great year. Additionally, an important date to put in your calendars, we are going to be having a gala again this year, which will be a wonderful fundraising event, and that is targeted right now for Saturday. I just want to make sure, last Saturday of October. Saturday, October 28th. So mark your calendars. I hope you're not all busy already. I know many of us have full calendars for the year, but please, we want to make this a great event. More information on that will be coming. If you have any other fundraising ideas, my partner in crime, Sherry Verson, and I are always looking for new fundraising ideas in addition to these wonderful Divine Dining events. that we schedule throughout the year. Dr. James already mentioned we'll be doing some of our artistic presentation fundraising. Those will be back this year. And a few other surprises along the way, but it will be a great return for us as a spiritual community to have these events that bring us together that have been not totally on pause. We got a few of them scheduled this last year, but they will be back in strong numbers this year for 2023. So if you have any ideas, see me or Sherry. Otherwise, see you at the Divine Dining events for sure. Thanks.
Thank you. And this year, just so you all know, our Christmas boutique was fabulous. It was our best, most successful Christmas boutique. Thank you, Diane, for all your work on that. We all went to see Anne, the musical. That raised quite a bit of money for the center at the Pasadena Playhouse. That was fun, watching Palm Desert and Global 2 Center come together and meet in Pasadena. As I said, Soul Immersion. Wine and Wisdoms. We have done a number of Wine and Wisdoms this year, which we're going to do a lot more this year. As I said, the telethon and our Divine Dinings. And whatever else you guys come up with. Doug Draper, our treasurer, is going to explain how our fundraising in 2022 actually is what really saved our butt this year, because it was much more successful even than 2021 for a reason. So next, I believe, is our, now you probably are going to have to turn around and look at this, although it's hard to look at these figures. But Doug Draper, our treasurer, will explain them to you. Yes. Oh, this is where you can put them on the board. Yes.
It will only last so long.
So take a good look. It may die in like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Looking at the budget for 2023, you're also looking at the actuals for last year. And the actuals for our total contributions last year, as you can see, were $268,000. We are projecting $375,000 for this year. And we
No,
need...
Doug, you just said 223,000. You didn't mean that. It's 368.
Our actuals were 368 for 2022.
That was a little scary.
Where did I get 220?
I don't know.
We are projecting total contributions of $375,000 for 2023. And that's going to require everyone's support in meeting that. We are not, in terms of the pledges that we've received, we are not up to 350 yet. We do expect to receive more. We're right now around 310. So if, you know, we need everyone to examine their giving and think about whether it's appropriate for your financial circumstance, for the needs of the center, and most importantly, for what you receive from the center. For me, this is the place that feeds me spiritually, feeds Corrine spiritually, and we feel very good about generously contributing to it. And to have a successful 2023, we're going to need that from all of you. The center basically has four ways of raising income. We have classes. Last year, our class income was a little below the year before. That is, class income is I don't know what the right word is, lumpy. Someone signs up for a class in 2021, they pay the whole amount, and the class goes through 2022. The income is booked in 2021. You can see how that happens. But class income, what you pay for a class, half of that, basically half of that goes to the bottom line of the center. Half of it goes to pay the instructor. That's often Dr. James, it's Dr. Liza, it's Dr. Tiffany, Dr. Eric, Dr. Karen. Whoever's teaching the class receives half of the tuition, and the rest If there's some minor expenses, the rest goes to the center. And that's an important source of income for us. The most important source of income is what I was talking about before, is total contributions, the membership or stewardship giving. Then we have the fundraisers. Dr. James mentioned that last year we did better than the year before in terms of fundraising income. Well, to understand that, you have to remember in 2021, our biggest fundraiser was an unusual one-time opportunities for giving to support all of the construction work we were doing. We raised $50,000 from that. But that was not a normal fundraiser, and there are different things going on with that. If we separate that out, in 2022, we raised, I believe, about $20,000 more from traditional fundraising events, such as the Broadway Christmas and some divine dining, some wine events. This year, we're looking forward to a lot more, as you heard Kevin describe, in terms of divine dining and other fundraisers as we get more comfortable gathering together. That source of income should go up for us in this coming year. And the fourth source of income is rental income. Back in 2021, we were renting the sanctuary on a part-time basis to a temple. That income ended in early 2022. That was about $25,000 a year, $30,000 a year. So last year, our rental income was about $7,000. This year, we are taking steps to encourage other uses of our center that will generate greater rental income. So in terms of 2022, that's about all I have to say. And the budget is based on what we experienced in 2022 and what we look out and see for 2023.
And the only thing I want to say about the income of 2022, our income through giving and fundraisers, and just through giving rather, was $369,000. We're only projecting $375,000. I don't mean to say only, but we're only looking at an $8,000 increase for the entire year, and many of our newest members coming on board, I project that we will go far beyond that. But we are being extremely conservative in the way we are looking at our figures this coming year.
And if I may, could we just all acknowledge Doug for putting these numbers together? Every month, on time. It takes hundreds of hours, I'm sure, over the course of a year to get all this right and report it and articulate it. So I just really want to acknowledge him for that.
Yes. Thank you, Ted. Yes. Questions, Galenda?
Can we get a copy of that?
I was just going to say that. Not this. We'd like to actually, anyone who would like a P&L of 2022 with the budget for 2023, it'll show you the actuals and what we've projected. Just give a call to the office and we will send you the file. That one, I will send you the file that has all of it broken down. These are just the totals, but the file we have has all of the subcategories. Yes. So I'm assuming there will be a number of you that would like to see those, so we will send them out to you. Just let us know, and they're yours. Our books are wide open for anyone to take a look at. So you didn't go through the expenses. That's the next page. You're on expenses? Okay. So you'll see that pretty much our expenses stayed pretty forthright, and we're keeping them where they were. Our administrative, our outreach expenses, here's the thing. One of our biggest expenses is our Sunday service. We have a big nut on Sundays. We have a musical director. We have a guitar, a bassist, a drummer. We have 3 singers. We have a camera operator. We have Thor up in the booth. We have someone downstairs. We have a big operation on a Sunday. It makes sense that you would look at that to cut back on. But ultimately, this board, we said no. We are not cutting back on who we are in the world, how we show up. So you're going to see, and I will give big kudos to Stan Galperson. You know, before I came here, Stan Galperson was single-handedly financing the band to stay here because there was no money to pay the band. Stan did it. So he was pretty vocal when we talked about where can we cut. He was pretty vocal saying, not the band. And he's right. Who we are needs to show the prosperity consciousness we have. So our budget does not, it's the exact same budget in 2023 as it was in 22, with a full band, full singers, full technical opportunities to make sure that our product stays very advanced. So.
And it feels better in the room with the full thing, and that's, we really want to draw people in to experience it live, right? And I just think that enhances it so much.
You're fine. No. I just want to make sure they can hear you online because we have a lot of people online today. The other thing that we did, you know, Dr. Karen Oxrider resigned from the executive director position in order to have more time with her family and in order to have more time in her life, to be honest, which, as you can all see, hasn't stopped her from being here, putting in full time anyway, as the head of the practitioners and doing what she does on a daily basis. We chose not to replace that salary, but to enhance our administrator, Brent Braun, take some of it and give him extra money to do what he used to do in running the center. So you will find that when you call the office, it's going to be Brent that you get if you have questions. And he is really terrific, available all the time, and gets me everything I need. Here in Westlake, in order to keep a presence, I'm here every Tuesday and Wednesday now. And Sherry Verson and Dr. Kirby, they now share the responsibilities of kind of running the center, certainly on a Sunday, and just making sure that all the things Karen used to do still get handled. Sherry will be here on Sundays. I'm here, and Dr. Kirby will be here when the other ministers are speaking. And they will also be around at the center. So that helped us balance our budget as well as we went through the rest of the year. I have also taken I don't want to say a cut, because I really haven't taken a cut. What I've decided to do is, 10% of our tithing goes to the spiritual director. But in the transparency of shared leadership, I've decided that the 10% tithe that goes to the spiritual director should actually go to the ministers that are speaking those months. So now I will get 5%, and the other 5% will go to the other ministers that are speaking. That way we start getting a much more equitable understanding of how your money is spent in this organization. So that began this month. So that didn't really change the budget. It just changed my budget, but it didn't change the budget. The money's been moved in different places. Our building expenses pretty much stay the same. Our rent goes up incrementally. What is it, every 6 months or something? Every year, Karen? Every year it goes up a little bit. Yeah. So, and we have, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin, what do we have? 3 years, 2.5 years left on this next?
We signed the new lease just as we went into COVID, so I think 3 with this year.
Okay, so 3 years on this lease.
5-year term.
Right. And then I think we need to talk about what do we want to do? How do we want to step into the world, maybe? It's interesting, the Buddhist temple moved out of the water court and went to, where'd they go? The mall, Oaks Mall. And they have expanded. People see them, they're there, people are interested. It may be time for us, after we finish this 5-year lease, to find a space where we can really present ourselves to the world. Something for us all to think about. So last year, our operating, if you can see at the bottom there, we already lost that. Last year, we operated at negative $25,840.64. And we have a projection of this coming year of breaking even at $1,950 in the black. So that's where it stood, and that's where we are going. We are certainly feeling good based on where we were in in November and December, and where we're moving into in this year. So that is the remainder of that budget. Any questions on that part? This is our open discussion. Not just on that part. Kirby, will you take this around if someone wants to speak? Thank you. It's not just the finances, but if you have a question, do you have a question? Great, would you take that back to her?
Remind everyone just to hold the mic close to your mouth.
Hold the mic close to your mouth.
Hi, just as I was leaving. But I've been sitting here thinking the whole time, I'm new. I lived in Topanga for 35 years, and now I'm renting in Camarillo, and I found this place because of my divorce support group. The doctor in there, and she turned me on to this. But I was thinking the whole time, I'm wondering why you don't have a sign. It was very hard to find for me.
Yes.
And, just if you had a sign, but I would suggest, just because of my thinking, that it would say Global Truth Centered Church, because I would not know it was a church. And, that would pull me in. I look around all the time because I don't know where I am or where I'm going. Just a thought.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's a little bit confining here at the water court is they don't allow signage.
Oh.
Right now, we were grandfathered in, and had we done it in a timely manner, we could have actually we had the signage already, but when we took it down, we haven't put it up yet. Kevin and I actually had a conversation just recently.
Just referring to the stenciling on the windows.
Right.
I wanna be clear.
Yes, the stenciling on the windows that said Center for Spiritual Living. So we are going to look into that. Sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness.
And welcome to the center.
Yes.
Yes, welcome to the center.
Janet? Yes, welcome.
Welcome, Janet.
Thank you.
Hi.
Dr. Patty.
Dr. Patty here. I don't know the exact figure. I think it was $368 in membership
It was.
donations.
Yep.
Do we have angel donors? That seems like a high number to me. Do we have angel donors, and are we assured they are sustainable?
What we have is a membership. People tell us how much they're going to give each year. And right now, we are at about $310,000 has been pledged to us for this coming year. So when you say angel donors, I'll be very honest. Kevin and I are the largest donors to this center. And I'm happy to be that. And our stewardship this year is even higher than last year, I believe. So yeah, we're angel donors, but really we're stewards. We support this center financially. And what we ask, and Doug asks this all the time, we ask people to really look at their lives and see if they can consider what we call percentage giving. This center is a big part of my life, so I give this percentage of my income every year. Tithing is 10%. Some people go more, some people do 5%. But percentage giving, so you know what you're doing. So no, we don't have like someone that just gives us $100,000 each year. But think about it. We do have $310,000 committed from this congregation, from over 150 members. So that's where we are right now. Yes, Scott.
I would like to ask for a shout out for my wonderful wife, Marilyn Murphy. I haven't heard this mentioned, which is why I'm mentioning it. But for almost the last 2 years, she planned, prepared, and executed a trip to Croatia for this center and also for the Spiritual Center of the Desert. And about 25 people wound up going on the cruise, had a wonderful time, but the more important note is it resulted in a $10,000 donation to Nora's fund.
Yes.
Thank you, hon.
And one of the things that, honestly, the reason I didn't bring that up is because we are very careful to keep Nora's Fund separate from the financials of this center because they are not linked together. It is a completely different aspect of what we do. And one of the things that has come up to me, this is our open discussion, I have gotten some flack from people saying to me, why are we raising money for outside organizations when we're in a deficit? Why are we going to our congregation asking for money for the Greater Contribution or for Guatemala or for the Ukraine when we're not meeting our bills? And, you know, that was a tough thing to hear from people saying to me. And my answer was, I don't operate in a consciousness of lack. I don't. Can I see that red $25,000 that Doug shows me every month to show me where we are? We were 38?
We were about 35. We had a $9,000 positive for December.
Yeah, we were about $35,000 going into November in the red. And I said, no, I'm just going to speak my word, and it will handle itself. And it did very, very well. Did it go to zero? No. So, you know, in this world of fundraising and contributions, I have no inclination to stop going to Guatemala and raising money for Guatemala. I have no inclination to stop giving where things are needed. But I do have to pay attention as a business person and as the president of this board in charge of the fiduciary to see, you know, how do I navigate these roads of how much need there is when we have our own needs. So it's been a very interesting year that way. So I did not stand in front of this congregation and ask for funds for Nora's Fund. I did it on my own. And the lovely Marilyn Murphy, actually, she's the one that recommended that the funds go to Nora's Fund, and we were fine with that. Same thing with the Greater Contribution. We did not raise money for Greater Contribution this fall. I gave, but I couldn't do it from the stage because we were $35,000 in the red. And the board said, we need to focus on making sure that we're here, that we actually make it through this. So that's what went on with that. Yes, Diane?
So I'd like to speak to the outreach effort. I don't know that there really is a formal outreach effort. I know that you indicated Liza and who else? Kirby, really. Really put a huge amount of effort into the community fair. But short of that, it seems that there's a whole lot more that might be done, could be done, if that is one of our goals for the year.
It is, and that's one of the things the practitioners are getting clear about. Creating the committee that is in charge of outreach and bringing what we now ask them to bring us. What are the needs and what can we commit to?
Yeah, I mean, we just look around here. Look, there's this huge apartment complex right across the street. There's Westlake Bay. I mean, my goodness gracious.
Are you talking about outreach, meaning bringing our community out there? Marketing.
I guess marketing.
Yes, good. Yeah. Marketing, yeah.
Wow, what opportunities just surround us. It's just remarkable.
No, it's true. It is true. Marketing, we need to have the funds to go out there and do it. Even just the ad in the Acorn is so expensive.
And there is an ad in the Acorn?
No, we do not take an ad in the Acorn. But but that's what Sherry and I have been talking about, because we can take an ad in the Acorn and then write an article about who we are.
Exactly.
They'll get both. So yeah, that is what we're looking at for 2023. And that is in the budget, a marketing amount.
Effort, yes.
Yep.
It's a great idea to put stuff out there.
You need to talk into the mic or they won't hear you online.
Sorry.
That's okay.
But I was was just saying, I think that's a great idea because there's so many centers that we can put flyers up or go out to different events. Thank you so much.
Bars.
Well, wherever. There's a lot of money there too.
To our new visiting member, it is to the comment of our new visiting member. I think it is a bit of a challenge because if we say Global Truth Center, that doesn't, that doesn't reach out to.
It would say Global Truth Center, a spiritual community. So it would let them know what we are.
Yeah,
but we can't say the word church because
Well,
we'd lose
okay.
half of our congregation.
Yeah, but to figure out a way
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
reach for what people are looking for.
Okay. Yep, Christy?
Hi, addressing the idea of the advertising even out onto the street. We have that wonderful window right there, and we have wonderful pictures that show up on that screen. At night, if we had something really bright that's beautiful, I don't know what colors you'd want to pick, but things that would show up in that window, any of these windows, I don't know if there could be a projection outward. I don't know if they allow you to do that.
We would be shut down instantly.
Is that right?
Yes.
Dang.
It's in our lease. We cannot,
Okay.
nothing should be in these windows.
Really?
Yep.
Aw, shucks. Okay.
I did. I pushed that. Yes, I pushed that in the renovation with the TV that's in the front prac room that plays nonstop 24/7 as I'll call it advertising. So it does run, and I knew that was going to happen. And so far, they have not said anything about that. I just say, well, it's just part of our ongoing loop. So the front TV does play 24/7.
Like words like peace. I mean,
Yeah. Sandy?
just the word.
I don't. Oh,
Go ahead, both of you, yeah.
Okay. So one of the thoughts for, again, the title, we don't want to call it church, but you can say what is that word? I just had it.
Non-denominational.
A non-denominational, a spiritual center.
Spiritual community,
But
yeah.
a
Non-denominational.
Thank you. Thank you. Really lets them know it's a center for prayer. It's a center where they can fulfill their need for some sort of religion. So that's the one thing. And also, I don't know whether you advertise in Neighbor. Is it Neighbor? Next Door. Next Door, thank you. Yeah, Next Door. A lot of people, I don't, but a lot of people really read it and are attracted to it. And Marilyn can attest to that through her own organization and how many new people showed up at the meeting a few nights ago because they happened to read it in Next Door.
That's great. Well, I'll be putting Marilyn in charge of this now. So that's good.
Sorry, Marilyn.
Perfect. Yes, Sandy?
On that same note, I don't know if it's something we would do, but how about Facebook and Meetup? I mean, there's people that are in Meetup looking for all kinds of things. And a spiritual center could be one of those. Facebook, I don't know if you've ever considered that, or if you think it's too,
Well, we have somebody dedicated to just putting things in Facebook.
Oh,
on
okay,
Facebook.
I haven't seen it. Okay.
But the advertising side too, all of that is what we now have to address financially with our marketing.
Okay.
But yes.
The other thing, in the past, and I've worked with Linda Masson on that, we used to serve food to the homeless at I think the Presbyterian Church in Westlake.
Right.
And we did that once a month through what was it called? Lutheran services.
Yes, and Linda and I just spoke about that on Friday.
And I used to do that with her once a month, and it brought me a great deal of pride to do that. I mean, the people that came in were very grateful.
Right. And she said they're not doing that anymore.
Oh, they're
she told
not.
me.
Oh,
she said now all they're looking for is for us to make boxes up and drop them off to them, and they'll give them out. They don't do any more interaction. But Linda and I have talked about how do we get our practitioner corps activated into making the things that she created have a life. And
Oh, I would
so-
like it if you didn't just limit it to the practitioner core and open it to the
No,
membership.
what it means is someone has to take charge.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the group in the practitioner core that will take charge of making sure that happens. Then
Right.
you'll hear about it and you can all be a part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Hold on a second, Diane, because there was one over here. Dave?
We've got Dave and then Karina.
And then back to you, Diane.
Yeah, so one of the things I just wanted to comment on is it's hard to see the numbers because they're small, but I do know for a fact that this building we're sitting in, this beautiful room we're sitting in, which everyone loves, also happens to be our largest single expense by far, on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's also can be our largest potential for bringing the community to us and putting us out into the community. Right here in this room, I've sat to a packed house with lines going out the door to Marianne Williamson, to Les Brown, to Mark Victor Handsome, people we've had come in here. Other centers that I visited, typically, I mean, all throughout California, they have other things going on there. They have AA meetings, and it so happens, I think, half of our ministers in CSL come through AA, and a lot of our members, Parents Without Partners, so many things that we have a common denominator. We have an opportunity to reach out, and I just want to ask the question, is anyone here actively looking at ways to solve the two parts of that equation at the current time?
We've just hired someone who's going to take it. It'll be their job to put this space out in the world. More importantly, you know, the speakers that you just referred to are not commanding those kind of rooms anymore. You're talking about when Sandra Dixon was here and all of those events. Those were great. We're in a very different time now. And if you were to try to get Marianne Williamson here, she would want $100,000 just to come into the room, and we would never make that back. So we have looked at those things of how to make those work. That's not the answer. However, book this room out for a conference, and we'll make $10,000, $20,000 that weekend.
Right.
We'll make that without doing anything other than giving them the room. We have all these cameras. We have an amazing setup here. So that's what we're focusing on this year. Renting this out to film companies if they want to, if they're shooting a film.
Playhouses, other spiritual centers that don't necessarily have the meetings the same time. We were using this place basically one day a week, not even a full day. And that means that it's 90% available.
Well, we're actually using it a lot more than that. We're actually doing a lot of things in the building now for ourselves. Like Soul Immersion is here, you know, on one Friday. You know, our plan is to start using this way more, but to rent it out. We have $10,000 in the budget this year. I would like to think we're probably going to be closer to the 30,000 or 40,000.
Yeah, and as also not to lose track of the means of bringing new people.
Mm-hmm.
To get them exposed to the facility, the ones that are driving down the street that don't know that there's something here. And as far as names, James used to have two names in your old center, North Hollywood Center for Spiritual Living, I think, and also Performing Arts Center. It was the same building, doing different functions.
But remember, that was a theater that we had a church in. So the theater was a fully thriving theater. Well, we made it thriving, but it was a fully operational theater, and we were able to have church in it. Here, we can't really do theater here at the moment because we don't have a lighting board, we don't have lights, we don't have a way to produce here, but that's also what we're looking at.
Yeah, and those are all problems, but all problems are solvable.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The good news is we're right in alignment with everything you just said. Karina?
Yeah, I'm just going back to the marketing part, I guess, with social media. I see all of these guests that sit in my chair that are constantly just posting content of fun things. I'm not savvy on it, but a lot of my guests can sit and just throw something on.
Oh, when she says sit in my chair, she's a hairdresser, just in case you wondered what she meant. Because I was like, what?
But I know that we have our Instagram and our Facebook page, and we put beautiful quotes up from, the talks on Sundays and stuff, but things that maybe would make people want to be a part of what we're doing. So fun things we're doing, us laughing, participating, doing a wine night, showing who we are on those pages, I think would get a lot more engagement. And like the acorn and stuff like that, although I know people read it, people sit on their phones 24/7 and are constantly scrolling, and that doesn't cost us anything. And I think that demographic of people too would create a lot more energy around maybe growing families and people who are wanting to be part of something, and we have such a rich soil for those people to grow up in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think right now our Facebook and our social media presence has been more focused on the teaching as opposed to the community, and I think that would behoove us to at least equal the two. So that would mean dealing with, helping Sarah get all the pictures and all the things that happen through us, all the things that we do, get her that information. So that's something for us to look at as well. I agree. Yes, and they are on TikTok. We are on TikTok, yes. Okay, anything else? Oh,
yes.
Yeah, Adam?
I just wanted to bring something up. I think we should all be aware that we're all practitioners in this religion. It seems to be, or I feel that there was a division, and it's the practitioners and you. And it's not the practitioners and you. You are practitioners. You are not licensed practitioners, but you're all practitioners of this religion or of this philosophy.
Good. Very true.
Thank you. I had a question. Could you just talk a little bit about Nora's Fund and how it came to be and what it does, what its function is?
Nora's Fund's function is to support children, teens mostly, in their ongoing pursuits of theater and camp, what they want to do in the world. So we use money to bring people to Guatemala. We fund some people going to Guatemala. We contribute to Karen's group. Nora's Fund always contributes to the Greater Contribution, which is certainly looking at teens and mothers in Uganda. And this year, Will and myself and Kevin will sit down and create a scholarship that we will, for UCLA, for students that want to go into the musical theater program. Because one of the things she did every summer was teach musical theater to kids. So we just looked at a program that's teaching kids this year. We want to contribute to that. So that's really the focus. It's not about going out in the world and seeing what the world needs. It's what was Nora interested in and how do we help that? So it is about Guatemala was dear and near to her heart. So it gets a great amount of her funds each year. And then, like I said, scholarships for musical theater, acting, that sort of thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, another thought. You mentioned the possible outing, if you could call it that, to Skid Row. And I was just thinking again in terms of our local community. I mean, Skid Row is, LA bound. No doubt there are similar kinds of needs much closer to our community. And I would prefer, maybe it's not an either or, but certainly to look for opportunities to not only give in the way and serve, but to put ourselves out in a community that is then likely to consider joining us. Because no one from Skid Row is going to be coming out down here.
And we are, and Diane, we are doing that. That's the community right down the street. That's the group right down the street that's feeding the homeless of Westlake.
But there probably are many other kinds
there
of
are,
outreach.
but here's what we need. We need someone to bring it to us, telling us, because we do not have the bandwidth or the energy or the time to go out and look for these things.
Gotcha.
But we do have a group now. The reason we're going to Skid Row is because Genevieve Joy, who's one of our new practitioners and in ministerial, she does it every Friday.
Gotcha.
So Saturday. She does it every Saturday. So she came to us, and we, Liza and I, a bunch of us, we were like, yeah, we'll all be part of this. Let's do it once the next month. We're going to go with you, raise some food from our congregation, and bring it down there. So you find something that you think we should be a part of, bring it to us.
Gotcha.
And we want the community to tell us that.
Yeah. Great.
Last one, and then we're going to wrap it up.
My fiance Charlie's church, when it was a Sunday afternoon, went out into the community and just random acts of kindness. Literally, we went to Trader Joe's and bought bunches of flowers, and we started walking around parking lots and just handing out bouquets of flowers, not just to women but to men, with a card saying, you know, from the Atmosphere Church, and did a car wash for free. Just little things, and at each month was doing something different, but really was out in the community.
Yeah.
So they would know who they are. And it was very fun. It was very fun. I helped him with that. So
And you know
something
what?
that's easy to do.
You know what I'd love to suggest? That the women's group and the men's group make that as part of their calling. That we do events like that. But here's the thing about the women's group and the men's group, which we didn't talk about today. The women's group is doing great. It's thriving. It's back up on its feet. It's a brand new version of it. Right now, I believe Sherry is still running the women's group. There's a group of 9 women that are on the committee. It's about to get new leadership for the new year. The women's group, it's not the women's come together and decide, here's what we're going to do, and they go out and do it. I want the women's group to bring us things and say, what if we did this? But the women's group was in charge of it. You know, they brought it to us, and now we're all getting involved. That's what I want to see. And I want the men's group to do that too, to do more than just get together and chat, but to really give us things, bring things to us. And the more we do that, the more we create community. Okay. So first of all, thank you all for all of your ideas and input. What's the next slide there, Thor? I think it says bye-bye. It does. Thank you for being here. So take a deep breath, everyone. Christy, would you come on up here for a minute? Where'd my microphone go? Would you give it to Christy? Treat us out. You're our newest practitioner. Treat us out.
I welcome it gladly and thankfully. So everybody, let's just take a breath. Relax. Close your eyes if you feel like it. And just know that we are right here in this wonderful sanctuary, this beautiful sacred space, all together, knowing that the truth is who we are. The beauty, the joy, the gift of living is what we're about, what I'm about, and I recognize it in every single heartbeat in this room. I feel it right here and right now, this incredible expansion of joy, of willingness, of reality exploding into more joy right here, going out into every person we get to talk to today, through the week, through the month, through this year. And I am so grateful to be knowing who I am, to be who I am 100% going out into this day. And I give thanks knowing that each person here is right where they need to be to share in this love. And with this, I just say thank you and ask you to join me by giving this to the law and knowing by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Christy. Okay. turn this up. Let me turn this up.